Hello everyone. So I did my final presentation or my interview on Joe Venazio. Um, so Joe, his background, so he's my roommate, and he's also a Coker transfer like me. He's also a lacrosse player here at Little Ryan. So he's from New Jersey, but he moved to Myrtle Beach when he was in eighth grade. And yeah, he's played lacrosse his whole life. He's from like a close knit family. His dad Joe, mother Tan, um, sister Ella, and his brother Ryan. Um, Growing up, his brother has special needs and is a cancer survivor, so he had that growing up. Having to deal with those kind of problems while growing up. Um, in high school, he was a U.S. lacrosse All American. Um, as a Coker lacrosse signee. While at Coker, he went through some hardships. Obviously, everyone went through COVID, but towards ACL, death of a teammate. So even before college and in college, he experienced some hardships. Though through all that, he was able to be a all conference and, and became the first All American in Coker history, which is huge for our school and our program. And then after his senior year, he transferred and, like me, is here at LR playing lacrosse. He's getting his MBA while I'm in the exercise science program. But in my paper, I just did a simple background just to give a background on some of the things that he's been through in life, and those kind of lead into what I talk about in terms of his sports and exercise psychology and some of the things we learned in the course. So going on, his motivations, like what motivates him. When I asked him this question in our interview, it was his love for the game, and he talked about how he loved the sport, and yeah, he just talked about how he always wanted to play it, even when he was younger, even now, he just loves playing, so that motivates him. If He kind of said something like, if you're gonna do something, you have to love it, especially in college, being a college athlete. Um, the second thing he said is he wanted to make his coaches and teammates proud and his loved ones proud, people like his family, just pushing hard and doing good to make those guys happy and those guys proud. So not for oneself. So that was pretty cool. And then he plays for his brother Ryan. Um, Obviously Ryan can't play, but has always been a part of the teams and programs that he's been on. So it's kind of like another internal factor for him to push forward, kind of playing for him, which is awesome. And then playing for his teammate Garrett. Garrett Backish was our teammate at Coker, who was killed in a bar shooting right before COVID even began. So that kind of thing is just heartbreaking and was a crazy whole crazy situation to be involved with. So his motivation is another thing for play for Garrett. So that was a big thing that pushed us that season. But even now, pushing us while and just in life and here now in general, playing here at LR. And then his drive to be the best, just wanting to be a champion, wanting to win. He wants to be the best at everything he plays in. And so now intrinsic versus extrinsic. So intrinsic, he's playing for himself. He loves to play, driving to be the best. Extrinsic, he's playing for people besides himself, playing for his teammates, playing to win a championship, playing to be known as one of the best. I think he's done very well with those motivations, and honestly, he's achieved some goals of each. I think he's made his teammates and coaches proud, but he's also, achieved some awesome stuff. I mean, first All American in Coker history, All Conference, those type of things. But yes, continuing on. Then I asked him some questions on mental toughness and tried to figure out his psyche a little bit. Tearing his ACL, how did he come back? He talked about his motivations, thinking about his family and his team and wanting to come back and be stronger, also about himself, wanting to prove himself right, prove doubters wrong. He thought about Ryan. He thought about things of that nature. COVID-19. He kind of used COVID-19 as a way to reset and be with family and train, and took a negative and made it a positive. And then with Garrett, he uses Garrett. As much as it was hard to be involved in something like that, he used Garrett as a motivational piece and wanted to play through him and for him. And one of the biggest things that I took away from talking with him was he talked about his positive mindset and how he approached things with a positive approach rather than being negative about things due to the things that he experienced, both either at Coker with the things that happened there or things with his brother and that nature. Just having him be positive and push on. Life could always be a lot worse, and it's just the mindset that he has. And then leading on, I think those factors contribute to the type of leader he was. At Coker, he was voted a captain his senior year, and his leadership style was, he was more of a lead by example type of leader rather than bring the guys in and give them a motivational speech. He was more gonna let his play do the talking and settle it that way. He set a pretty high bar with some of the things he accomplished, but it was the way he played too. He was a very unselfish player in that nature. Considering the leadership styles for him, he had the pleasure of being coached by two awesome coaches. Now he's with Coach Paradigm, Coach P here at LR, but at Coker we had Coach David Oliver, he was like another dad to us. Still keep in touch with Joe today. He talked about, and with Coach Oliver, he had a guy who was soft-spoken and wouldn't break you down as critically as Coach P here. Coach P is a little harder, yells a little bit more, but is more strategic and just trying to really get everything out of you and to get everything out of all of his players. Talking with Joe, he says he liked both equally, and he likes them both to the same degree. He liked P yelling at him, getting hard on him, because if he feels it pushes him to play harder, and then he liked O because he felt more free, but also could take what O was saying and really use it to his advantage. And he emphasized his liking for both and their styles of leadership, which I thought was cool because I'm pretty similar in that way, and so I was able to connect with him in that way. But continuing on, concluding it, understanding Joe was cool that what he's gone through in his life has pushed him and molded him to the type of leader, player, and person he is today. It was cool that some of the things that happened to him earlier in life have made him the person he is today, and those motivations, it all blended together pretty well with his motivations and how it made him mentally tough, and his mental toughness is then formed him to be a good leader and good example for others. So it all was like stepping stones, really, and kind of formulated well for whenever I was writing my paper and making this. It all formulated pretty easy, so I kind of just took a big, broad interview, and I narrowed it down to 3 key things, and from my questions I kind of just plugged in responses and talked about it in that way. And as we go on, comparisons to myself, I've been friends with him since freshman year at Coker, and I never was able to see the comparisons that we have mentally going into things, and it was cool to see those comparisons. Having to interview him and talk to him about a class in school, which was really awesome. And then just a realization of the type of person he is, and why he is that way, and why he does and how he does some of the things he does. It was cool just realizing realizing okay, he's the way he is because of certain things that happened, and it's changed him and molded him and pushed him, and it created him to be this type of person that he is now, and then the player. So I had a great time with this interview and with this whole project, and thank you for watching and enjoying.